Dishonored, developed lovingly by Arcane Studios and published by Bethesda. Back in 2012 when Bethesda were absolutely peaking in the eyes of most gamers, and even though I don't really agree with some of the stick that they receive today, this game is an absolute classic. Playing as the infamous character Corvo, let's see how a beloved 2012 game fares in today's plethora of mediocrity, and what actually happens when you mess with Corvo.
What do you get when you mess with Corvo? Kicked in the balls and dragged round Dunwall, eaten by rats in a dirty place. One blink and you'll get stabbed, bitch. What do you get when you mess with Corvo? Kicked in the balls and dragged round Dunwall, eaten by rats in a dirty place. One blink and you'll get stabbed, bitch. Bitch.
Set in the dark and dreary plague-ridden fictional city of Dunwall, the city takes inspiration from 1800s London and has been sent into chaos due to a plague which is devouring the city's population. As well as disease, there's been a rise of criminal activity in the form of corruption at the highest governing levels, as well as theft and murder at the low-level street gangs, all thanks to the chaos of the plague and the valuable resource whale oil. Whale oil is a newly discovered fuel that is used to power the city and has created a variety of street governing security methods and powerful weaponry at the hands of the corrupt government. We play as the silent protagonist Corvo Eterno, the bodyguard of Dunwall Empress Jessamine Caldwin. Within the first few minutes of the game, Corvo is framed for the murder of the Empress and spends his entirety of the game fighting to clear his name alongside a resistance group who call themselves the Loyalist, and also rescue the daughter of the Empress and now rightful heir to the throne, young Emily Caldwin, who's voiced by Chloe Moretz, by the way.
Okay, you cunts. Let's see what you can do now.
After escaping prison, the gameplay loop we experience throughout really gets started at the Hound's Pit pub, which is the base of the Loyalists and Corvo's new home. Here you have the plot outline of each upcoming mission explained to you, as well as the option to upgrade your weapons with blueprints that can be found out in the streets of Dunwall, and also topping up the various ammunitions at your disposal and explore the close proximity of the pub, finding secrets and other little bits of lore. From there, we jump on a boat to coast the rivers of Dunwall towards our next goal. The level design was and still is one of Dishonored's many strong points. The verticality and massively varying choices of approach to your next target is always so gratifying to find and left me double backing on myself just to explore every option possible, because the front door was always the most boring and obviously led the player down the most well guarded and difficult route. Finding that little hole in the wall, a grate into the sewers, or scaling a wall to slip through an apartment bedroom to appear at an advantageous point of entry always had me feeling like a master of espionage. Now, probably the strongest factor in Dishonored is the flexibility and fluidity of Corvo as he leaps, darts, flashes and sneaks his way through each level. The sheer satisfaction from bolting across 3 rooftops, hopping on top of a lamppost to leap down and plunge your sword into an enemy's collarbone has got to be up there with some of the most refining gameplay mechanics of its generation. These skills aren't the norm in Dunwall and have been gifted to Corvo by a mysterious, unsettling figure known as the Outsider. The Outsider brands Corvo with his mark, and with this mark comes the ability of superhuman skills. Corvo can flash across huge distances, possess the minds of animals and eventually humans, bend time to his will, fire a powerful blast of wind out of the palm of his hands, summon a deadly man-eating swarm of rats and enhance his vision, giving Corvo the ability to see through walls. Something I'm not a big fan of in any stealth game, but certainly gets you out of a few hairy situations. Wherever possible though, I'd try to peek through the door's keyhole, rather than use my dark vision to see exactly where each enemy is stood on the other side of the door. All All of these enhancements are not completely free to use at will though. Corvo must not only manage his health bar but also his mana bar, which is his fuel to utilise his magical powers. In Corvo's hunt to clear his name and rescue young Lady Emily, the player is given the option to immerse themselves in the role of a vengeful, mass-murdering lunatic, a merciful, unidentifiable ghost, or a blend of the two. Personally, I recommend a blend of the two because the skill tree really lends itself towards aggressive gameplay. However, the natural movement mechanics of Corvo really lend themselves towards a stealth playthrough, but hey, each to their own. At the end of each mission, you're given the option to replay that mission anyway, as well as take a little look at the statistics you've racked up. One statistic that has no number associated with it is chaos. The chaos level is scored as either low, medium or high and is measured by the path of death and destruction left in Corvo's wake. The more people you kill, the higher the chaos level goes, and each chaos level results in varying amounts of rats that swarm the city's streets and even offer different endings too. If I've not already made it abundantly clear, the replayability in this game is through the roof and a big reason for me revisiting this little gem in 2020. On top of all the otherworldly magical enhancement at Corvo's fingertips, he can also rain terror down on his enemies with the equipment in his presumably massive pockets. Equipment such as his trusty sword, a pistol, grenades, both sticky and non-sticky, a crossbow firing lethal and non-lethal bolts, and spring razors, which are handheld, placeable mines that once triggered entangle enemies in razor wire, ripping them into chunks. As well as this wide array of weaponry, Corvo can get a little tactical with his approach, using a rewiring tool, turning the guard's security protocols against them. Protocols such as gates of electricity known as walls of light, arc pylons which are unmanned electric bolt firing turrets, and watchtowers which survey the area and if caught in its gaze will fire incendiary bolts at Corvo. All of these can be turned against the enemy if you follow the machine's cables leading to its circuitry box, or alternatively just turn them off entirely if the machine's whale oil canister can be found and unhooked. Scattered around the hard-to-reach places of Dunwall are runes and bone charms. Runes are basically level up points which can be put towards upgrading Corvo's enhancements. Bone charms are little perks such as increased health or the disgusting ability to eat white rats to regain some mana. These runes and bone charm locations can be exposed by the inventive and pretty grotesque fleshy steampunk heart that was gifted to Corvo by the outsider. Beating stronger and faster as you approach a rune or a bone charm, triggering the heart to whisper the town's dirty little secrets into Corvo's ear is such a grim but cool idea that takes the phrase "follow your heart" to a whole new level. Playing in 2020, the gameplay is still incredibly innovative and so enjoyable. The option to take it slow with calm, calculated movements or simply go in running and gunning is so refreshing, and both styles have been refined to almost perfection. There are still areas of the game which are inaccessible that really trick you into thinking they are accessible, but it's sadly just the edge of the level. Other moments in combat that could have done with a little extra polish were the use of your gun or crossbow. It wasn't quite as tight as it could have been, though still the 1-2 hit combo of your right hand, left hand fighting style is something I've always enjoyed since Bioshock and is still feeling strong in Dishonored. The visuals have started to age, but only slightly. The environments are the weakest point in this department, with houses off in the distance seeming pretty pixelated. However, the close-up visuals of human NPCs or the environment surrounding Corvo still look pretty crisp. Arcane employed an artistic cell shading style seen in games like Borderlands, which in my opinion are always more likely to hold their value as time progresses, purely because there's no attempt to be a photorealistic game. With photorealism improving year on year, it's hard to keep up with the quality, whereas the stunning artistic cell shading approach in Dishonored would add years to any game. Just like a painting, it will rarely show its age. Couple these visuals with fantastic audio such as the quick thud and whoosh of Corvo darting across a rooftop gap, the clanging of swords crossing, and the deep, sad and atmospheric soundtracks, and you've got a genuine classic. A real game changer at the time, and a change so good that the game hasn't really been changed for the better since. Certainly not in this genre anyway. For that reason, we give Dishonored our 2020 score of 8.5. If you've made it this far into the video, then thanks so much for watching. We really hope you're enjoying our review so far. We are working on other non-review videos, some of which are going to be unique, let's say, so stick around for those. You absolutely will not be disappointed. However, if you're here just for the reviews, then stick around for those too. Plenty more to come. First timers on this channel, we'd really appreciate your support if you could smash that subscribe button and give the video a like. Peace out.